Brain of Britain 2006. A nationwide general knowledge contest for the title Brain of Britain 2006. The chairman is Robert Robinson.
Hello again. 4 more alpinistes of the mind step forward, this time from the north of England, and they are Miss Isabel Heward, a voluntary worker from Scunthorpe, Alan Wynne, a teacher now retired from Milnthorpe, Cumbria, Douglas Hartley, a scientific proofreader from Ramsbottom in Lancashire, and Philip Cousins, a clergyman from York. As ever, 5 right in a row gets you 6 and 10 seconds for inspiration to strike. First question for Miss Heward, and it's this. What is the name of the land of giants in Swift's Gulliver's Travels?
Laputa?
No. Mr. Wynne?
Brobdingnag.
Brobdingnag is right. Mr. Wynne, which rival of Rome was traditionally founded in 814 BC by Phoenician settlers led by Dido?
Carthage.
You're right. Which war involving Great Britain was ended by the Treaty of Nanking in 1842?
First Opium War.
Yes, you're right. How much would a coin of half a groat have been worth?
2 old pence.
You're right. The geranium genus of flowers derives its name from the Greek name of a particular bird because of the fancied resemblance of the seed capsules to the bird's beak. This is sometimes reflected in another popular name for the flowers. What name is that?
Crane's bill.
It is. What is the general name for the type of pottery fired at the lowest temperatures which remains porous unless treated with a glaze?
Terracotta.
No. Mr. Hartley?
Earthenware.
Earthenware is quite right. It's now your turn, Mr. Hartley. What might be measured by devices called hyetometer, ombrometer, or pluviometer?
Rainfall.
Yes. A graveside ceremony was held at Montparnasse Cemetery in April this year to mark the 100th anniversary of the birth of an Irish writer who settled in Paris in 1937 and often later wrote in French. Which writer was that?
James Joyce.
No. Miss Heward?
Samuel Beckett?
Yes. That's not really the important question. The important question is, was he really any good? I've never been able to make my mind up. However, now is not the time to go into that. Mr. Cousins, who this year became Britain's first female foreign secretary?
Margaret Beckett.
Yes. Gaborone is the capital city of which landlocked republic in southern Africa?
Botswana.
Yes. Which Lama in Tibetan Buddhism is traditionally second only to the Dalai Lama in importance?
The Punchet Lama.
Yes. Calcite, dolomite and malachite are all common names for members of a class of mineral salts widely distributed in the Earth's crust. What is the class?
Crystalline.
No. Miss Heward?
Quartz?
No. Mr. Wynne?
Limestone.
No. Mr. Hartley, are you?
Diamond.
No. The answer is carbonates. Yes. And that brings us to the end of our opening round, and I'll tell you what the scores are. They're these: 1 to Miss Heward, 2 to Mr. Hartley, 3 to Mr. Cousins, and 5 to Mr. Wynne. Miss Heward, the building, which was the tallest in the world for more than 40 years after its completion, celebrated its 75th anniversary this year. Which building is that?
Chicago Sears Tower?
No. Mr. Wynne?
Empire State Building.
Yes, you're right, and it's your turn. Of what would a cruciverbalist be an enthusiast?
Crosswords.
As neologisms go, isn't that one of the ugliest you have ever heard? Cruciverbalist. Yes, you're absolutely right. Crossword. Which animals, when bred for fur and meat in the medieval period, were originally kept in small enclosures called coneygarths?
Rabbits.
They were. Set in Dodge City, what was the title of the longest-running Western series ever to appear on television, running from the mid-1950s for some 20 years in the US and nearly 15 in Britain, having been, before that, a radio series?
Rawhide.
No. Mr. Hartley?
Bonanza.
No. Mr. Cousins?
Starsky and Hutch.
No. Now, Miss Heward?
Wagon train.
No. All good contenders, aren't they? Because they did, I think, run for a long time. It was Gunsmoke. It's now Mr. Hartley's turn. What name is given in canoeing to a complete roll through 360 degrees to recover after capsizing?
Eskimo roll.
You're right. I'd call it jolly lucky. I don't know what I've done. That's what I would have thought. Anyway, Eskimo roll is quite right. Which parliamentary enactments of 1534 and 1559 confirmed the power of English monarchs over the Anglican Church?
The divine right of kings.
No. Mr. Cousins?
The Act of Supremacy.
You're quite right. Acts of Supremacy.
Yeah, Acts
And
of
it's your turn, Mr. Cousins. Of which type of astronomical feature are the crab, the coal sack, and the horsehead all examples?
A dead star.
No. Miss Heward?
Nebula.
Nebula is quite right. Well done, ma'am. And the scores are now 2 to Miss Heward, 3 to Mr. Hartley, 4 to Mr. Cousins, and 8 to Mr. Wynne. Miss Heward, Queen's College, Cambridge, has a famous bridge called the Mathematical Bridge. So called because it was, according to a legend which is completely without foundation, it was constructed without nuts or bolts by a mathematician. Who is credited with this feat, although the bridge, in fact, dates from 1749, more than 20 years after his death?
Well, I'll guess Isaac Newton.
Well done, ma'am. It was a good guess. That's right. Can you tell us what title is held by the wife of an earl?
Countess.
Yes, you're right. Adam Mickiewicz, if I pronounce his name correctly, whose masterpiece Pantados was published in 1834, he's considered the national poet of which country?
Japan.
Are you guessing it from my pronunciation? I'll bet you. No. Mr. Hartley?
Albania.
No. It was worse than I thought. Mr. Wynne?
Poland.
Poland's right. Well done. Mr. Wynne, within Europe, which foodstuff may be certified according to the Strasar Convention of 1951 and later EU regulations by type or by origin, the former able to be manufactured in any country, the latter only in certain designated geographical areas?
Cheese.
You're right, sir. Who had a Greek phrase which can be translated as "why worry" carved into the pediment above the doorway of his cottage at Clouds Hill in Dorset?
Thomas Hardy.
No. Mr. Hartley?
D.H. Lawrence.
No.
T.E.
Miss Heward?
Lawrence of Arabia. T.E. Lawrence.
Yes, you've got the Lawrence right, but not the initial. T.E. Lawrence, yes. Strange man, when he was famous, he decided he didn't want to be famous, so he enlisted in the RAF, if you remember, as a humble aircraftsman. And one night he was out of the barrack room. Next morning, one of his fellow humble soldiers said, "Where were you?" "Oh," he said, "just a party, just a small party. The Archbishop of Canterbury, the Prime Minister, Mr. Rudyard Kipling, Mr. H.G. Wells, and me." So whether he was really modest or not, I can't tell. Mr. Hartley. We now hear part of a work from the late 1880s by Gabriel Fauré. He named it for an early dance form, popular in Italy in the 16th century, that was an inspiration particularly for early English composers such as Dowland and Bull. Other 19th and 20th century composers, besides Fauré, Ravel, for example, have also used it as a title. What is the work called? And what was that called?
Pavan.
It was indeed, sir. Well done. And it was played there by the City of London Symphonia, conducted by Richard Hickox. It's Mr. Hartley again. There are currently 20 official languages of the European Union. The 21st is due to become official on the 1st of January 2007 and is the first one not to be the most widely spoken language in any member country, although it is an official language in its own country. Which language is that?
Basque.
No. Mr. Cousins?
Irish Gaelic.
Irish. You're right, sir. Well done. And it's now your turn, Mr. Cousins. Which city, the capital of Rajasthan state in India, is a major tourist destination, often called the Pink City because of the pink stucco used in its construction from the early 18th century?
Ajmer.
No. Miss Heward?
Agra.
No. Mr. Hartley?
Simla.
No. Now, Mr. Wynne?
Delhi.
No. Jaipur is the answer. And at the end of that round, let's see how things stand. Now we have 4 for Mr. Hartley, 5 for Mr. Cousins, 5 for Miss Heward, and 10 for Mr. Wynne. And now we have 2 questions from one of our listeners, hoping to bowl out all 4 of our contestants as they put their heads together. First of 2 questions sent in by Mrs. Jan Dealey from Liverpool is this. What was Babe Ruth's real first name?
Plucking a name from the air. Let's say Ebenezer.
You have to say it again. It sounds very interesting.
Ebenezer.
Ebenezer. Oh, what a good idea. I'm sure he wouldn't have changed it if he had been called Ebenezer. No, George, I'm afraid, is the answer. He was nicknamed Babe in joking reference to his size, and Bernard Shaw once said to an American journalist, "Who is this baby Ruth? And what does she do?" Showing off, as usual. Well, here comes the second question from Mrs. Dealey. What was Jessie Owen's real first name?
Somebody else can make a fool of themselves.
James.
James is quite right. Well done. He was called James Cleveland Owens, hence J.C., equaling Jessie, after a teacher misheard him on his first day at school. However, you didn't get the first one right, you've got the second one right, but that means that Mrs. Dealey has won, gets a book token and a round of applause. Miss Heward, it's your turn. The longest final in the history of the Men's World Snooker Championships, near 30-year tenure at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield, took place this year. Who was the eventual winner?
John Higgins.
No. Mr. Wynne?
Peter Ebdon.
No. How are you up on snooker players? Mr. Cousins?
Alex Higgins.
No. He wins everything, doesn't he? Or used to, anyway. Mr. Hartley?
O'Sullivan.
No. Graham Dott is the answer. Mr. Wynne, 2 poems by John Milton published in 1645 are viewed as complementary companion pieces, although their exact relationship is still a matter of scholarly debate. They deal with 2 contrasting personality types. Can you name one of those poems?
Il Penseroso.
Yes. And the other one?
Can't remember.
Oh, I just thought I'd give you a chance to tell it. L'Allegro. But Il Penseroso is quite right. What would the musical instruction VS tell a performer to do?
Put a mute on the strings?
No. Mr. Hartley?
Play it very loudly.
No.
Very
Mr. Cousins?
Very softly.
No. Nice try, sir. Nice try. Miss Heward?
Very quickly.
No. Near miss. It means turn the page quickly. Volti subito, apparently. Yes. Mr. Hartley, your turn. A mysterious American government facility in southern Nevada, which has existed since the mid-1950s, has, because of the levels of secrecy and denial about what goes on there, generated considerable speculation regarding investigation of alien activity. Like the Roswell incident, with which it is linked, this speculation has been perpetuated in print and in film and television. How is the facility known?
Project X.
No. Nice try, Miss Heward.
Is it something like Sector 49?
No. Mr. Wynne?
Extraterrestrial investigation.
No, easily could be, couldn't it? No. Have a go, Mr. Cousins.
Los Alamos?
No. Area 51 or Groom Lake, apparently, is acceptable. But there, you didn't get that. Mr. Cousins, it's your turn. Which acid found in spinach, rhubarb, sorrel and other plants has no known benefits for human health and is in fact harmful and is used for cleaning metals and as a bleaching agent?
I simply don't know.
Miss Heward.
Oxalic acid.
Exactly right. Rhubarb, sorrel. But you can't imagine anyone scrubbing a piece of metal with a lump of rhubarb. But I don't suppose that comes into it at all. And now, at the end of the round, the scores are 4 to Mr. Hartley, 5 to Mr. Cousins, 6 to Miss Heward, and 11 to Mr. Wynne. Miss Heward, which leading dissident association, of which Václav Havel was a prominent member, was formed in Czechoslovakia in the late 1970s to press for greater human rights?
Charter 88?
No. Mr. Cousins?
Charter 77.
Yes, Charter 77. Mr. Wynne, what is claimed to be the first exhibition focusing jointly on two artists considered masters of the Baroque and of chiaroscuro lighting effects? It took place in Amsterdam this year to celebrate the 400th anniversary of Rembrandt's birth. He, of course, is one of those concerned. Who is the other, earlier painter, whose life, in fact, overlapped with that of Rembrandt, but by only about 4 years?
No, I can't remember.
Hands up, Mr. Cousins?
Caravaggio?
Is exactly right. Well done. Mr. Hartley, Prince Edward Island is one of the 10 federal provinces of Canada. Its near neighbour, Cape Breton Island, is considerably larger in area, although a little smaller in population, but is itself part of another province. Which one?
Nova Scotia.
Yes. Cloud Nine, Top Girls and Serious Money, all dating from and offering comment upon the Thatcher era, are among the best-known works of a playwright who's often seen as a feminist writer, although she said that is too narrow an interpretation of what she does. Which playwright is that?
Julie Cooper.
No? Miss Heward?
Carol Churchill?
Yes, quite right, Carol Churchill. Mr. Cousins, the world's largest cruise ship made its maiden voyage from Southampton to New York this spring, although it will be serving the Caribbean cruise trade. 15 decks high and the length of 37 buses, with its own ice rink and surfing pool. What else could you ask for, really? Wonderful stuff. Among other mod cons, what's the ship called?
Queen Mary 2.
No. Mr. Hartley?
The World.
No. Miss Heward?
Queen of the Seas?
No. No, Mr. Wynne, you can't pick a likely title. No. Freedom of the Seas is the answer. You nearly got it, Miss Heward, but not quite. Now, I'll tell you how things are moving. We have 5 for Mr. Hartley, 7 for Mr. Cousins, 7 for Miss Heward, 11 for Mr. Wynne. Miss Heward, RICE is a common abbreviation in the first aid treatment of injury. The R stands for rest, the I for ice. Can you tell us what either the C or the E represent?
Does the E stand for elevation?
Yes, indeed, ma'am. And compression is the other one. Of what, in relation to shapes, are reflectional, rotational, and translational 3 basic types?
Types of symmetry.
Indeed, you're right. Over the last 20 years, the German film director Edgar Reitz has produced a mammoth 3-part examination of German history in the 20th century, largely through the experiences of the village of Schabach and the Seaman family. What is the more or less untranslatable one-word title of the work?
Heimat?
Yes. A distinctive mausoleum at Mortlake Cemetery in London is designed in the form of a Bedouin tent. It is the tomb of a traveller, writer and linguist who is perhaps best known for his exploits in Africa, but who visited Mecca in disguise and translated the Arabian Nights. What was his name?
Sir Richard Burton.
Indeed, you're right. The Vikos Gorge is sometimes claimed to be the world's deepest canyon in proportion to its width. Also occasionally called Europe's Grand Canyon, though it is actually much smaller than the Grand Canyon. It is situated in which European country?
Portugal.
No. Scope for guessing here, Mr. Hartley?
Greece.
Greece is quite right. Did you know that, Mr. Hartley?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a little prevaricatory, I think. Mr. Wynn's turn. The 23rd World Championships of which game were held at their regular venue of Days Lock, Little Whittenham, Oxfordshire, in March this year. A team from Milton Keynes wrested the title from the defending Japanese, and individual honours went to an 8-year-old from Abingdon.
Conkers.
No. Miss Heward?
Tiddlywinks.
Who? Mr. Hartley?
Marbles.
No. They're going down like 9 pins now.
Canoeing.
No. It's poo sticks. You know that. Of course, Christopher Robin was the hero of Milne's whimsical poo tales, but he didn't altogether appreciate it, and the great Beachcomber wrote a verse in the Milne style as follows. John Percy said to his nursey, "Nursey," he said he, "tell father I'd much rather he didn't write books about me." "Lawks of mercy," shouted Nursey. "John Percy," said she, "if Dad stopped it, if Dad dropped it, we shouldn't have honey for tea." I suppose there's something in that. Mr. Hartley's turn. The performer we now hear dramatically retired from singing in 1967 after more than a dozen years of success. But on a later visit to New York, he was so impressed by the musical Man of La Mancha that he subsequently adapted the book and lyrics into French and produced, directed and starred in the resulting version, thereby reviving his career. What was his name? And his name, the singer?
Sacha Distel.
No. Miss Heward?
Jacques Brel.
Jacques Brel, quite right, well done. Singing there To Dream the Impossible Dream from the original cast recording. Mr. Cousins' turn. Of which novel by George Eliot is Gwendolen Harleth the heroine?
Middlemarch.
No. Miss Heward?
Daniel Deronda.
Yes, Daniel Deronda. And now we're totting up the scores again. And they are these. 6 for Mr. Hartley, 7 for Mr. Cousins, 11 for Mr. Wynne, 13 for Miss Heward. And it is with Miss Heward that we begin our final round. Which hormone is also known, particularly in the United States, as epinephrine?
Adrenaline.
Yes. The term myrmidon, sometimes used unflatteringly to describe followers, servants, or even hired thugs, originally referred to the retainers of which warrior in mythology?
Zeus.
Nope. Mr. Wynne?
Jason.
Nope. Have a guess. Mr. Cousins, Mr. Hartley, I beg you.
Amazons.
No. Mr. Hartley, do try.
Ulysses.
No. Achilles is the answer. Yes. And now it's your turn, Mr. Wynne. Who, in his History of the World, published in 1614, 4 years before his execution, wrote that whosoever in writing a modern history shall follow truth too near the heels, it may haply strike out his teeth?
Sir Walter Raleigh.
Yes. The Pritzker Prize, instituted in 1979 and won this year by a Brazilian, Paulo Mendes La Rocha, has been called the equivalent in its field of a Nobel Prize. For what is the prize awarded?
Poetry.
No. Mr. Hartley?
Architecture.
Well done, sir. Architecture is right. And it's Mr. Hartley again. Earlier this year, an international team of scientists reported the discovery of an area the expedition's leader described as close to the Garden of Eden as you're going to find on Earth, apparently untouched by human intervention and containing dozens of new species of plants and animal life. Where in Asia was this discovery made?
Kazakhstan.
No, Mr. Wynne?
Papua New Guinea.
Yeah. No. I don't know what I was going to say. It might have been yes, it might have been no, but one way or another, Jawkins has forbidden it. Mr. Cousins?
Indonesia.
Indonesia, yes, specifically the western Indonesian part of New Guinea. That's what made me pause, but it was no good. I paused all in vain. Now, Mr. Cousins, Spain's female patron saint, Saint Teresa, is often known by the name of her hometown in central Spain, a medieval stronghold that has a near-complete circuit of 12th century walls. She is Saint Teresa of...
Avila.
You're right. The international governing body of which sport changed its scoring system this year to make it more appealing, that's to say rather faster, by allowing players to score on any point, not simply on their own serve, with the winner in standard three-set matches, the first to 21 points, rather than, as previously, 15 for men and 11 for women.
Rackets.
No, Mr. Hartley?
Badminton.
Badminton's right, sir. Which brings us to the close of the competition on this occasion. And I will tell you what the final scores are. They are these. 8 to Mr. Hartley, 9 to Mr. Cousins, 12 to Mr. Wynne, 14 to Miss Heward. So, Miss Heward, I think she will forgive me for saying she came up on the rails rather distinctly. And she is our winner. We congratulate her. She goes forward to the semi-finals. Next week we have 4 more contestants, also from the north of England. Until then, I bid you goodbye.
The chairman of Brain of Britain was Robert Robinson, and the questions were set by Kevin Ashman. The programme was devised by John P. Wynne, the producer, Richard Edis.